Milky Way from the church there. I always like their music because they always feature, one of the guitarists is always playing a 12 string. Anyway, I've been promising this video. This is the RB612BK from Harley Benton. I showed you the unveiling video of the last three I got on the order and promised I would do individual videos. I did one, and this is the second. I was reminded to do it from the last video where I talked about Harley Benton guitars. And I have tried out a few budget 12 strings over the last few years. The last one being on video that I showed you, a cheap eBay Cozart 12 string, which didn't quite have it for me. I set it up, made it play as well as possible, and let it go cheap to somebody who really wanted a 12 string but didn't have a lot of money. I was looking for something else when this came up, and of course this borrows. It looks a bit Rickenbacker / Dan Electro retro style with the white pickguard there and the semi-hollow with the F-hole. I do believe Eastman is making a guitar that looks a lot like this too. It's probably closer to the thousands, so are Rickenbacker and Dan Electros these days. Particularly the semi-hollow 12-string type guitars. So for a budget option, I think this is around $225. The price probably fluctuates, but if you do the 3 guitar deal and get the economic overseas shipping, it's just an absolute steal. I do believe Harley Benton's still doing that. Let me know in the comments if that's changed. But you know, for a budget 12-string, I just think this is one of the best options that I've seen. I'll give you a close-up. It's got these sort of industrial type pickups there, really nicely designed. Very nice trapeze tailpiece with the squiggly design on there. You know, the standard 4-knob and toggle switch setup. Rosewood board, nice spacing between the strings, so the nut width is nice, and I do believe it's a graphite nut. Can you see that black nut? It's very standard tuners. The type you see on all budget guitars, nothing special, but they're holding, and you know 12 strings are notoriously difficult to tune. So this one's doing just fine. I reckon I'm going to leave this all stock. Put some better strings on it. I've got it set up. I like it. It chimes. It's got a nice 12-string chime to it. I think it just sounds great. The different pickup is positions give it tonal difference. And you can dial in the tone and volume with the 4 knobs there that split the pickups. So I think it does everything I need it to. I think the parts are just good enough for me. I know some of you like to get stuff like this and mod it out. I suppose the first thing people might do is swap out the pickups and change the wiring, put back pots in there and everything. I don't see a need to really mess with the hardware that much. The hardware on this is actually quite decent. The one flaw I do have, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, if you look inside the F-hole, it's a bit of a mess. It's like, looks charred, like burnt out. So that's a bit of a downer, but you don't see it from here, so it's not really a big deal. It is kind of heavy. It is a sack neck guitar, very narrow heel, so it plays really well up the board. A lot of you don't play 12 strings this high. So that you can, they've got a really nice cut on the heel there, so you can get your hand all the way up. I think these are just fine. I think they're really well made for the money. And for me, it ticks that box in my arsenal. I like to have an electric electric 12 string around. I like to have an acoustic 12 string around. And this does the job. I think this is going to hang around for a while and be the one. I don't see any real flaws on the guitar. It's pretty nicely made. It looks quite good, doesn't it? Now, there are a couple of color versions on this that Harley Benton does. I like this black with white. And also this is the RB612 Classic Series. I said 412 earlier, didn't I? 612 Classic Series. So they must do some other kind of series as well. Harley Benton's models chop and change a lot, so just go on the Thomann website and see if this is still available or something like it's still available. I think they're great value. I think they're really well made. They sound like a good classic 12-string should sound. So there's my review. I think it's a great little bargain. You know, whenever I see electric 12 strings by better known brands like Gretsch and things like that, they're always up there close to the thousands. So if you want one that's only 200 or 300 that plays well, that you can set up well, possibly upgrade if you want, I think this is a good bet for you. So as promised, this is my review of the Harley Benton 612BK 12 string, and I will be back soon with a look at that baritone Harley Benton that I got. Just doing a bit more setup on it, getting it where I want it, trying to get the sound I want out of it, because that one I think I'm going to play a lot. I really love baritone guitars, as you know from my videos on acoustic baritones. So here's the 12 string. Get it. It's a great deal. Harley Benton's just a really solid bang for buck guitar, and if you buy the 3 and get the overseas shipping, I don't think you can beat it. I think it's just a fantastic deal. All right, see you next time.